Hi guys, welcome back to Criminology Help for You. This is going to be like sort of a last minute support session for people who are studying Unit 1 Criminology. So I'm essentially going to talk through all the stuff you should have notes on, what the inside of the exam is going to be like, and then linking stuff to the brief. So in 1.1 you're talking about your different types of crime, so your white collar crimes, so that's organised crime, corporate and professional, as well as moral crime, state crime, technological crime, and individual crime. Individual is made up of hate crime, honour crime, and domestic abuse. And within all of these, you should be linking them. So you should be giving examples of offences, who the typical victim of the crimes are, typical offenders, and then what the public awareness is for the crime. 1.2, talking about the reason that certain crimes are unreported. So that could be personal reasons, so that people have have a fear of the consequences which may happen. They may be shameful of the crime. It may not affect them, and therefore they have a disinterest. There may not be media interest, so they don't really know about it much. So links to lack of knowledge, and then you should link it to crimes like assault, domestic abuse, vandalism, rape, and victimless crimes. For 1.3, you're explaining the consequences of unreported crime, so how it could lead to a ripple effect, how there may be decriminalised laws, like laws on cannabis. Police prioritisation is when the police essentially focus on more serious crimes and focus on them, which means that other crimes go unreported and unrecorded. Could be cultural changes where it could be seen now that the norms and values of society have changed, and now that that's acceptable. Legal change, certain crime could now be legal or illegal, or it could be like decriminalised, and there could be a change in procedure. 1.4, you're talking about the media representation of crime. So you're going to talk about the newspaper, TV, film, gaming, social media, and network. Essentially, how they can represent crime. And 1.5, you're essentially talking about the impact of these. So, like, the TV or like newspapers in particular can be significant in influencing moral panic. You need to know what a moral panic is, which can then also in turn lead to like stereotyping, which can then affect the perceptions of crime trends. So it means that, I don't know, say if there was a moral panic about theft, that you could see, if you're looking at the crime statistic, you could see a massive spike in theft, reports of theft. However, in reality, it's just because the police are being told, oh, watch out for people stealing stuff, and therefore they're reporting, they're like more readily available, therefore they catch more people, which then makes it seem like, oh yeah, more people committing theft. And then 1.6, you're talking about your statistics. So you're talking about the Home Office statistics or the police recorded crime, this is the same thing, and the Crime Survey for England and Wales, or the CSCW. And in that, you're talking about the reliability of them, the validity, how ethical the research is. Say, for example, someone didn't ask to be interviewed and they got interviewed anyway, and the stuff that they said was used, that'd be not very ethical. The strengths and limitations of each, and what the research is set out to do. 2.1, you're comparing campaigns with change. So, going to be talking about change in policy, change in law, funding, awareness, and attitude. Essentially, I'd try and say to go for ones that's similar. So, say you wanted to do something about like changing the law, so like campaigns. So you could talk about like Sarah's law or Claire's law, stuff like that. That'd be better. 2.2, you are evaluating the effectiveness of media using crime. So not in crime, so used in campaigns. So you're looking at campaigns and you're looking at the media they've used. So say a particular campaign is used like social networking, radio, and TV, and it's like really popular. Or you've got some that are using like film documentaries, like getting loads of awareness for crime. But then you've also got to look at why that could be bad. Like film documentaries, very expensive, very time consuming. 3.1, you are now planning your own campaign. Under that, you need to talk about the aims and objectives, why you chose your campaign, the target audience, so who your campaign is going to be targeted to, what methods you're going to use, what materials. So methods is like sort of your step by step. So like I'm going to use like social media accounts, and your materials will essentially be like I'm going to need paper to print posters or whatever. Finances is how much everything costs, timescales, how long everything's going to take, and resources needed, sort of similar. 3.2, you're designing your materials, so you need 4 materials. Most common tends to be merch, so like t-shirts, hoodies, stuff like that. You can get some on Canva, just design them and like do stuff like that. Or you could use leaflets, posters, social network pages, like that. And then for 3.3, you're justifying your campaigns. Like, I've chosen this campaign because I feel like it is underreported, or it's not enough media coverage, or whatever. So now I'm going to talk to you what the exam's actually going to be like. So when you're in the exam, it's 8 hours long. It's very long. That's probably about 2.5 hours a day, bear in mind. I'm pretty sure you get 5 hours of internet. I think it's 5. I'll say it's 5. 5 hours of internet in which you'd realistically start with your 3.1, 2, 3 to like go on Canva or whatever and make your materials for the crime listed in the brief. And a campaign about that crime. God, killing my voice. And then if you need like any other research, like 2.1, 2.2, that's your time to essentially do it now. So like you can Google it because you have the time to do it. When you're linking to the brief, essentially the brief is like a scenario that you're given. So say it's talking about Mr. Allen, who has committed white collar crime, and there's a campaign out there that's not doing very well, and it's used like radio and newspapers, and they want you to plan a campaign about something else, like moral crime, and essentially why you're going to use that. So essentially with everything you write, you want to link it to the brief. So when you're using your write-ups and essentially copying out your notes, write everything down. I'd leave a bit at the bottom where you link it to the brief. So like a little paragraph at the bottom saying, in the brief, and then essentially linking it. So say it's on about white collar. In the brief, white collar crime can be seen as Mr. Allen has committed this, and specific he's done blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think that should be everything covered. Make sure that obviously everything that is your own work, you can bring in your notes and your write-ups themselves. You can't bring in anything that has like teacher comments or anything. So if they're on your write-ups, make sure you delete them because you could be penalised and get 0. Also on that note, do not plagiarise anything because people run it through a track anyway, so they can clearly see if you've plagiarised and you just get 0. And then you have to retake, and it's very long. 3.1, 2, and 3 in specific, I'd say the key to doing well on this is being extremely critical, like why you've used in your designs. So like say, I have chosen this font because it is synonymous with, I don't know, knife crime. Colour red is synonymous with blood, which links to knife crime. You then want to talk about the font. Why have you chosen this font? I've chosen this font because it sticks out, which makes it more visible, which can raise awareness for my campaign. And then 3.2, I'd say to use a lot of direct address. So use like, you can help us, or do this now, you are responsible. Something like that. Talking specifically to the audience, like using you, direct address, because that's going to get you quite a lot of marks. Direct address, direct address, direct address. I might sound a bit crazy just saying direct address multiple times, but that's essentially a clear way if you're using persuasive language, targeting your audience specifically. And yeah, I think that should be everything. Hopefully. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It's just like brief rundown because I know that a few people have their control assessment on Monday, I think it is. So yeah, I just wanted to put some spot out there. So thanks guys, see you in the next video.